Code monkey, get up, get coffee. Code monkey, go to job. Code monkey, have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say code monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do code monkey think? Code monkey think maybe manager wanna write login page himself. Code monkey not say it out loud. Code monkey not crazy, just proud. Code monkey like Fritos. Code monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code monkey very simple man. Big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
What's new, Dino Dudes? It's me, the Media Raptor, and you know what time it is, right? Sorry, still getting used to this new chair. It's time for another installment of the Media Raptor Reviews. So what could I possibly be reviewing tonight? Well, if you haven't looked down at the title, then let me explain. I'm reviewing the 2019 action film John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Or, technically speaking, it would be John Wick Chapter 3, Prepare for War, which is a very fitting title, considering the literal war that goes on in this movie, but that's semantics. If you haven't seen my previous reviews on John Wick 1 and John Wick Chapter 2, I'll just fill you in quickly. I love these movies. Their realism, their action, their character, their story, the world they build, I love this. The John Wick franchise has quickly become one of my favorite action franchises of all time. It is one of the most promising franchises for storytelling, and even though I think they should stop making John Wick films after the next one, and I'll explain why in a minute, there is so much potential for the TV show, more comic spin-offs, a GTA-style game, like a mix of GTA and Assassin's Creed. There is so much potential of just the world they've created, and I love it. Not to mention Keanu Reeves is just an awesome person in general, but this has revitalized his career, and he is such a good actor in this franchise, and this one really shows how good he can be. But let's not talk about John Wick 1 or 2, let's talk about John Wick 3. And let me start by saying, the dog survives. Spoiler, but I need to get that out there, the dog is okay. So, if you haven't seen John Wick Chapter 2, I'm okay with spoiling this because if you see John Wick Chapter 3, they mention it literally as the movie begins, and it's been 2 or 3 years since the last one came out, so you probably should have seen it by now if you're going to see the third one. There's the Continental, which is the hotel where all these assassins meet, and there's one rule pretty much. You can't kill anyone on Continental grounds unless they've been excommunicadoed. If you kill somebody, you get excommunicadoed. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means you can't get help from the doctor, you can't get any supplies, you can't get any guns. You're essentially out of luck and you're on your own. The second movie ended with John Wick killing a dude on Continental grounds, despite the fact that he totally deserved it, and now he's trying to survive and figure out if he can make amends for what he did. So, what the previous two John Wick films were pretty much prided themselves on was being able to keep the action fast, fluent, but for the most part, realistic. For the most part. Yes, there were always parts that were kind of how is that possible for a human to survive that? Especially, his bulletproof suit and all that. You'd think he wouldn't survive that being shot that many times, even with a bulletproof suit. But that was a very minor thing compared to how much they were able to pull off, making it seem realistic. This movie, however, well, the writing, it sacrifices a good chunk of the realism. There are a lot of scenes in here when I was in the theater going, how did he survive that? Or how did he walk that off? Or, wait, he's still alive? He shouldn't have lived through that. But, before you think that's a strike against the movie also completely off the chart cranks up the action and the unique fight scenes to completely make you go, who cares? This looks awesome. You want to know what I mean? We have ninja bikers. Yes, ninja bikers. And John Wick fighting ninjas. How has this not been a thing yet? It was the coolest part of the movie. How has this not been a thing yet? And can we please have more? Can we have a whole franchise called Ninja Bikers, actually? Like a Power Rangers style thing about a group of ninjas who go off on motorcycles and fight bad guys? How awesome would that be? I'm sorry, the inner child is getting out, but the action in this movie is some of the best in the whole franchise. As for the writing, the story is surprisingly more than you would expect. You'd think it would just be John Wick trying to survive and, get out and, maybe finally be at peace or be free from this whole, there's like a 15 million bounty on him. But no, actually. There's a lot more to the plot that I don't want to spoil, and a lot more emotionally going on than you would expect. There's a lot more explanation as to why he does some of the things he does, aside from his wife and his dog. And it really kind of makes you sympathize with the character. You realize just how broken he is and how sadly this is the only life he has left. It's funny how a character who is so merciless in executing pretty much anybody he gets paid to, you really do see how he is still a human underneath. Now, granted, considering how many times he gets shot, stabbed, run over with cars, maybe he's like some sort of mutant. But at the same time, it's funny how he can have such emotional moments and you actually believe it. You don't just go, why are they trying to make me care for this guy when after all he's done? You're like, I really care for this guy even after all he's done. And one thing I praised the previous two films for was its world building. And this one does that even better. Not only do we get to see more of how the Continental works, we get to find out more about the High Table, which is sort of like this shadow organization, essentially the Assassins Illuminati. That's the best way to put it. They're like the Illuminati for these assassins. So we get to find out more about them, how they function. We don't see them yet, I believe that's the next movie, and we even get to see more of the assassination organizations around the world. From Casablanca to, underground New York. And again, the character building is great. All the new characters are either likable or despicable like they're supposed to be, and that's not a knock on the actors. All the acting in this is phenomenal. But it's a very well-written movie. And it does set up the fourth movie, and I really do think they should end it at 4, because if they go much further, they might, lose the magic. I'm surprised that John Wick Chapter 3 was this great. Because the curse of sequels. Very often their quality just gets worse and worse. Now, what I was talking about earlier with the whole, I think they should stop, is just that. The John Wick movies, I think, should stop. However, the character, I want him to keep going, be it in comics or John Wick getting a TV show. But if they keep pushing the movies like this, they already have to sacrifice a great deal of realism in this. Like, there are multiple scenes when people get shot or stabbed out in, the middle of a subway station. And in the previous movie, people actually did freak out or react to it, but in this one, no one seemed to notice when somebody gets their throat slit in the middle of the day, or shot in the head in the middle of the day. And there are people who do react to it, but then there also are multiple times and I'm like, hi, dead body. Is no one seeing this? So, the writing is a mixed bag, to be fair. 99% of it is awesome in the sense that it's strong characters, strong plot, but also there's the issue of it losing some of the realism. The acting, though, there is not a single bad actor, not a single bad line, and it's Keanu Reeves, it's Lawrence Fishburne, it's all the actors coming back, and they are so good. I loved every single actor in this. Even the dogs are very well trained, and one of the dogs has to act a little bit at one point, and it's a really good scene. Also, for some reason, this movie hates testicles. Let's talk about the action now and the special effects. I don't know what this movie has against it, but this movie really seems to hate balls. Almost to a comical degree. As in, if you have them and you're a bad guy, a dog is going to maul them off. But the gunplay, it looks, for the most part, realistic, even though it is kind of Hollywood-ish, but who cares? It still looks... Look, I'll just put it this way. The gunfighting, the knife fighting, the action, it's amazing. It's John Wick, it's everything you want it to be. It's what you've seen over the past 2 movies, except more on a bigger and better scale. We have John Wick fighting ninjas on motorcycles, we have John Wick fighting a dude on horseback, we have fistfights, we have a samurai showdown. It's just entertainingly awesome. I really don't know what else to say. The special effects, such as the practical effects, because there's a lot of practical gore in this, is great. There were multiple scenes that genuinely made me hurt to watch because I can see pretty much anything and be fine, but often mutilation of fingernails, toenails, or eyes are like the one thing when I'm like, nope, please don't, no. And I was saying that a number of times in this movie because there was a good amount of eye mutilation and, well, fingernail and toenail mutilation. And now before you say, wait, but don't you love MK11? Yeah, that's so over the top it's different. But when you have a knife being slowly pressed into a man's eye and it's not cutting away and you see the knife going in, that's when I'm like, please don't show me this ever again. Even though I'm totally gonna watch this movie again. So, yeah. Music is great. The camera work, much like the new Godzilla movie, it doesn't constantly cut up in the action, so it always has long flowing shots that really make the action sequences look better. So, in the end, can I recommend John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum? Definitely. It is not like a world-changing movie. It's not gonna win Oscars or anything, but you know what? It is a fantastic movie, and I really do hope you guys go see it. I haven't heard many people talking about it, which disappoints me because it is a very, very solid movie. I can't really rate the 3 John Wick films in terms of my favorites without having to go and rewatch them all back to back and probably being able to do it then. But I'm giving John Wick Chapter 3 a solid 3.5 Raptor Claws out of 4. It isn't a 4 Raptor Claw movie because of the realism loss. And I'm not sure... Some of you might not understand why it's such a big deal, but when you watch the previous 2 movies and you see the attention to detail of how far they went to try and make this secret organization seem really secret, and then this one when they kind of throw that partially out the window, you do feel like something is lost. So, yeah, it doesn't matter though. It's just a very small nitpick, to be honest. The action is great. Keanu Reeves is awesome. Go watch this movie. I'm going to go watch John Wick Chapters 1 and 2 again because I love those movies and I haven't seen them in a while. So until next time, Dino Dudes, this has been the Media Raptor saying keep cool, and I'll see all you dudes around. Later.